Congressman Andy Biggs penned an op-ed for USA Today with the title, "Mr. Mueller and the Witch Hunt." And joining us now, that aforementioned Congressman Andy Biggs joining me. Congressman, great to see you.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be with you.
All right, let's dive right into this. The timeline matters here, and the travel to collect the information, to bring it back to the United States, hand it off. So with the new subpoena and the subpoena powers of Devin Nunes, do we see connecting the dots as a part of this strategy?
Well, I think so. I mean, Chairman Nunes is doing a great job by issuing that subpoena and demanding answers. And we in Congress have to keep ratcheting this up because we know there's bias. We know there's conflict. We know that, I mean, with the 10,000 emails that got taken away from the Trump transition team, we know that those weren't really gone through the normal due process. This is just one more piece of evidence to indicate that this Mueller investigation is just kind of spun out of control. And it's widespread and it's broad, and this may be the scandal of our time, quite frankly, and we've got to get to the bottom of it.
So how do you connect the dots here? And obviously you have this compendium of information, the emails, the text messages, and you pull this all together, but now you've got to make the connection. Is that the next step? Because with a lot of smoke, you've got to be able to see how the fire started.
Absolutely, and that's part of why Chairman Nunes' subpoenas are so important. We've got to see what's going on over there. But we have to get some of these people back before Congress to actually answer the questions because, as you may have seen, they just keep deferring and saying, well, the Inspector General's looking at it, and we'll just come along after the Inspector General. We need to get the Inspector General to hurry up with his report, give us the information, because what we've seen is the Democrats have changed their tune completely. If you recall, they were asking for they were accusing Trump of Russian collusion. Now we don't hear that anymore. What we're hearing is obstruction of justice. This has got to be brought back to a focused investigation so we can see whether there was collusion, because what we're seeing now is the collusion came from the DNC and Hillary Clinton. What we're seeing is that there were actually people at the highest level of our government trying to manipulate the election. That's what it appears to be. So we have to connect the dots. We need to keep bringing these people in, and we have to put it together. And right now they're refusing to answer our questions with the cover of, oh, this is under the Inspector General's investigation. That's a real problem for us.
You know, going back to the genesis, it began, of course, the Russians, we know this, they tried to interfere with elections all around the world. That said, that's kind of an established fact for many years. But this began as a counterintelligence operation looking into Russian interference. That means that any and all in the campaigns, whoever were touched by this, should be investigated. Are we going to see Chairman Nunes now look into this, not just the Trump campaign, the Clinton campaign, the Sanders campaign, any campaign that was out there that may have been touched or attempted to be influenced by the Russians? Is this, in other words, is this going to go back to what it really is about?
Well, right now it's kind of spun out of control, and frankly, the Judiciary Committee has jurisdiction over the Department of Justice, and we should be bringing these people in. You know, we're finding out maybe that Jill Stein's campaign was involved somehow. I mean, this is really spun far beyond what Mr. Mueller's authority should have been limited to. And we have to bring it back in. We have to be focused. And the real question is, how did the Russians impact the election? If they did, let's find out and let's take care of that. But reality is, this becomes so partisan with my friends across the aisle that isn't what they're even looking at anymore. They're looking at any way to get President Trump out of office. That's what they want to do. They want to delegitimize and they want to stain President Trump instead of saying, let's see what's gone on here with how did Mr. Mueller get so out of control? Well, because nobody's overseeing him. How did he get all these biased people? Well, because there's no vetting procedure in place. And so we have to bring that back into control, and then we can get back on focusing on the real question, which is, what did Russia do with our election? And we have a pretty good idea, but that you know, this dossier is really the smoking gun, and we have to really uncover everything we can.
A pointed question on this, Congressman, and something that has not been brought up, I think, and looked into and needs to be looked into some more. James Comey, whether he violated presidential privilege, leaking the documents to the Columbia professor and his friend, and the fact that if he did violate the law, can he be charged? Do you think he should be looked into and, if possible, charged for violating the law?
Well, absolutely. I think he should be looked into. I mean, he took information that he had access to, unique access to, may have been privileged information, and to manipulate the appointment of Robert Mueller as a special counsel, he leaked it to his buddy who, with the instructions, let's get it into the media. Hey, that's a real problem. And that goes to the whole underlying reason why 6 months ago I started saying Mr. Mueller should not be the special counsel because of what Comey did. But we keep asking questions about that, and we keep being told the Inspector General's looking into that. And we did get commitments from Director Wray and from the Attorney General that they would reopen that if the Inspector General felt that that was a problem.
Well, we'll wait for the Inspector General's report then, Congressman, and see what comes out, see what action is taken by you and the Republicans in Congress and Chairman Nunes. Congressman Biggs.